I mean, I was 17 or 18 when Almost Famous happened. I was obsessed with it.
That's the movie
I mean,
for
it changed my life.
Me too.
It almost makes me want to cry, which is weird, but it's like good art. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's Cameron Crowe too, right?
I guess
I'm a massive Cameron Crowe fan.
Welcome to Overeducated and Underemployed. And we got Lilly Hiatt this week. She's, of course, the daughter of legendary John Hiatt. But, and I got to say, I've been a fan of John Hiatt since I was really young. I saw him on the Master of Disaster tour when the North Mississippi All-Stars were his backup band and opening act. I think like 2008, 2009. Fantastic show. But I got to say, I think I dig Lilly's songs more. You know, we're about the same age. I think she writes songs for my generation. And, I prefer Lilly's songs over John's. And I really enjoyed talking to her. I hope you enjoy it. Next couple of weeks, we got a couple of mini documentaries about AthFest. So please hit subscribe. Please hit like. Share it with all your friends, and go check out some of the older episodes, because these episodes at the Georgia Theater had to be a little bit shorter just because we were backstage working around other acts, and time was limited. So you got time to catch up. Thanks for listening. Here's my talk with Lilly Hiatt.
I'm here with Lilly Hiatt. We're on Overeducated and Underemployed.
Yeah, we're doing it now.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're
all right,
going.
Cool. Overeducated, Underemployed. I love that.
It's a Lee Baines lyric.
Oh, I love Lee Baines.
Me too. He's a
really
dear friend,
cool.
and
cool.
let me use that as the title of this. He's a sweetheart. I love him.
That's good to hear, because I like music.
Yeah, me too. He played my house last August, and
cool.
it was really great.
Was he solo or with a band?
He was solo, but he had his tracks and
did
the whole thing. Yeah, it was great.
Cool.
It was great. And then he was just back in Tallahassee for Word of South a couple of weeks ago. So
nice.
we got to hang. We went and watched Earth, Wind, and Fire together. It was great.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great hang.
And Chuck Reese was there. It was a whole party. Anyway. Oh yeah. I'll ask you the same question I ask everybody to start with, and then we'll just kind of have a little chat. What's the first song you remember loving as a kid?
Okay, I talk about this a lot because my husband and I love Mike Patton from Faith No More.
Yeah.
Well, when I was like 6, I remember that song Epic. The video for that was on all the time on MTV. And I that was my first phase. That was my first memory of being like, I can't get enough of this song. It speaks to me so deeply. And I loved it so much. So that one.
Do you remember what it was about it that first drew you in?
Well, he kind of talk raps in the verse, which I thought was really cool and different. He's an interesting looking dude. The video has this part at the end. I think it's this video, and I don't think I'm mixing it up with November Rain, which is another big one, but it's like a fish flopping at the end out of water, and it always
I think that is the Faith No More video.
I think it is too, and it haunted me, but in a profound way, as even a little kid. But something about Faith No More that I think is cool is like, it's kind of playful. So as a kid, it spoke to me. So
yeah. What's interesting, like I've interviewed a lot of people that are like our age, and a lot of people, because I'm 40.
Okay, cool.
And
welcome to the 40s.
Yeah, thanks. I literally
cool.
Just a week ago. So,
good for you.
Yeah.
So you're Gemini.
Gemini, Tiger.
What is a tiger?
In the Chinese astrology.
I think I'm a rat.
Okay.
That's cool. Tiger, Gemini, Tiger. I'm a
But it's there's this lady that wrote a book where she like combines them.
Okay.
And so it gets pretty specific as to like what year and month you were like.
Yeah.
There's like 144 of them now.
Yeah,
right?
I know those things can become very.
And so,
intricate.
and I think, I don't know. I'm not one to get too much into astrology, but there's something to like.
I'm with you. There's something
to it.
I can't deny that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel that.
So, did you want to play music as a kid, or were you just kind of infatuated with things like? I remember the point I was going to make now, and then I'm sorry. So I've interviewed a lot of people like our age, and then I've interviewed a lot of people of like the previous generation too.
Yes.
And the thing I've noticed about like Gen X and younger, is it's much more like the first song they remember loving is usually tied to a much more visual thing. Yeah. Than previous people where they just heard it in the car or they heard it on their and it's
true. We all grew up with that, and I get in a sense.
Yeah. Were there like movies with musicians in them that you remember loving as a kid, or that you remember seeing a lot of?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
like PCU stood out for me when I was.
I've never seen that, but it sounds cool.
It's fun. It's almost more apropos now in some ways.
That's cool. I need to check that out.
It's a silly, stupid comedy movie, but George Clinton shows up at the end.
Okay.
So, it was like 90.
Yeah, the movies. I love the movie Singles with all the grungy folks in it, and that was a big one for me. Oh, of course. I mean, I was 17 or 18 when Almost Famous happened. I was obsessed with it.
That's the movie.
I mean,
for
it changed my life.
Me too.
It almost makes me want to cry, which is weird, but it's like good art. It's Cameron Crowe too, right? I guess I'm a massive Cameron Crowe fan.
I am too.
And Vanilla Sky, I loved that movie.
I kind of think of myself, or like what I'd like to be is if Cameron Crowe took some psychedelics. Yeah. That's cool. Kind of where I feel like I land, or if Mark Maron wasn't so angry.
Yeah, he's so funny. I really like him a lot.
Me too. He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you don't quite seem that angry.
I can get there.
But I love that about him.
Yeah, me too. Well,
I think a lot of us relate to that.
He's angry about the right things.
Yeah, totally.
So that's why I think makes it right.
He's not afraid to show that, and that's important.
I think for me, if I let myself get pissed, I can't get unpissed.
Same.
So it's easier for me to just find the absurdity and laugh at it.
I know. Well, if you're a comedian, I'm sure you've learned to do that. And
I think it was the other way around for me, Lily. I really do. I think I did that. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I can do this on stage. Yeah. Because I've only been doing comedy a few years. It was like a late in life or midlife crisis. I don't know. Maybe all of this is just a midlife crisis.
Cool. That sounds
like it seems like a productive one.
Comedy.
It seems like a
that's
fairly
who I
productive.
want to hear from. Honestly. I don't want to hear from this super young person. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, tell me some truth.
I think it's better than buying a motorcycle.
Safer, maybe. I don't know. The world of comedy seems really hardcore in a way, but anyway, I don't know.
It can. I mean, I think you have to be so personal without being able to. I think music, you can kind of disguise yourself a little more with imagery or whatever, but with comedy, like you really have to put yourself out there. Yeah. And in my experience, the more talented an artist, the less relatable they might be sometimes. Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, you have to be super exposed to do it too. And so, in front of people that you know aren't gonna like it is, I think, the hardest part. Yeah. And I think that's probably true for music.
For sure. Yeah, it is.
And I think you've got a lot of funny lyrics.
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah,
I'm pretty funny if you get to know me. But sometimes I think I'm funnier than I am, I'm sure. But
have you ever wanted to do comedy in any way, though?
No, but I mean, I respect it. Yeah. I think it's really cool. At my level of performance, I'm happiest with it being the musical thing. I don't think I could do anything else. just don't have the drive for anything else. But I think it's really cool, and I really respect people that
I think
do that.
comics kind of land there the same way. We're just like, I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's just part of who you are.
So growing up, what were you really listening to, and what turned you on? You wanted to play music. What kind of music did you want to play? What were you into? Faith No More is like the starting point,
that was
right?
one of them. I was into them. I was into Winona Judd. I was into Mariah Carey.
Hell yeah.
Debbie Gibson, Amy Grant. This is like when I was really young.
I still listen to that first Mariah Carey record.
Is that the picture? Well, a lot of them have her on the cover, but I'm pretty sure the one I had was the first.
Or Butterfly is maybe it's not even the first, but
it's got this song called Someday on it.
Yes.
The one
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I loved that record when I was a kid, but and then when I got older, I got into other stuff. I got into more rock, and got into Pearl Jam pretty heavily. Got into CCR. Had my classic rock phase. Down the line, I was really into Gillian Welch, Ryan Adams, Whiskey Town, and stuff like that. And it's always kind of just, but I've always liked everything, exploring all the realms.
yeah, that's kind of what I gathered.
Yeah, it's just cool. So I wish I knew more world music. I don't always know where to start outside of American bands. I know some British stuff, but
I've been listening
always trying
to
figure it
this
out.
guy named William Anyabor. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
J. Roddy Walston turned me on to him, and I've been obsessed ever since. He's this Nigerian funk, but also did a lot of early electronica stuff with synthesizers and stuff like that. I've been
That's
obsessed
cool.
with it. So
That sounds awesome. I'll have to.
you might want to check that out. Yeah.
I will, and I'm gonna get you to write that for me. So
I'll send you links.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd like to listen. I have a drive tomorrow, so. And I'm kind of fresh out of tunes right now, so. And there are a lot of them out there.
There are. I think it's really ignorant when people say that there's no good music out there anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, there's more music than ever, and there's more good music than ever, I think. So.
I think
yeah, it is.
It's easier to pretend there's not than to find it sometimes.
I think it's hard.
Just because it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. But there is a lot of great stuff. There is. There just is.
Yeah, yeah. So I've read that you got your first guitar when you were 12. Your dad gave it to you, and you didn't really like to practice or play. Like,
Yeah.
How do you think you overcame that aspect of wanting to do it?
Well, I just thought I better learn to play so I can do what I want to do, which is be a singer-songwriter in front of people. And I never ever wanted to just sing. I always wanted to play the guitar. So I just got, little by little, got better at it.
Yeah.
But it took having a scheduled performance to motivate me to do that, which I didn't have that till I was 17 for a thing at my high school where I had to play guitar and sing. So that got me to kick into gear. I was like, all right. Well, I think to audition to get the thing, I had to get good. So I did that first, then I auditioned, then I got the opportunity to play in front of my school, and that meant a lot to me. So I practiced. And then from then on, I kept practicing until I could play chords and perform. I did a lot of open mics in college, so
Yeah.
that helped me a lot.
Where did you go to college?
University of Denver.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I had a classical guitarist befriend me and teach me a lot, and we would go play open mics. And then we had a band and all this shit. So
What did you study there?
psychology.
Oh,
And,
cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
which was cool. It
Yeah,
was cool.
I did a lot of history of psychology in college, so definitely like a special interest of mine.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So did you want to be a singer-songwriter at that point, or were you going to school for something else, or?
I went to school because my parents told me, which this is a luxurious requirement, They said I had to. They were like, you have to go to college or else we're cutting you off at 18 and you got to figure out. They were like, you can either go to college or you can get out in the working world and pay for all your life. And I was like, I'll just go to college. I wasn't ready to hit the ground being a musician yet, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I went. I'm so glad I did. And I also got a lot out of it. I was like, I'm going to study and do my best. I did pretty well in school, so because I wanted to be good at something.
I think
I wasn't like straight A, but I did all right.
I think the more that songwriters know about the world, the better their songs can be.
Yeah, I knew that was a cool opportunity to get presented to me, so I better take it. Sounded cooler than going to get a job right away.
What did you like about Denver?
Oh, I love Denver so much. It's just cool. And
yeah, I've never been. I'm just curious about it.
I mean, I'm a little out of touch of where it's at now.
Sure,
and I'm going to go there in a few months, and I haven't been in 7 years, so I'm excited but it's a vibe. I mean, at least, and when I was there, 2002 to 2006, it was awesome. Just very different from where I was from. Franklin, Tennessee was just total change of pace. So
yeah,
I liked it. It's starting to get into some of the Western vibes a little bit out there because you are more West. So.
Well, I think the mountains have a lot to do with that too. Like,
for sure.
It just makes it feel like a different world, kind of.
Yeah, it was.
I've been to Utah, and
that's a cool place.
I think it's
different.
Just feels that similar with just a different world, kind of.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, culturally there too. Oh my goodness.
I know. I have a friend from there, and she's told me a little bit about it, and I'm like, that's interesting. Wow. Because it feels like another planet. Some places you go that you're just like, new terrain. It just looks different. It's amazing though. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever played AthFest before?
I'm trying to think. I think I have.
I feel like you have too.
I think it's been some years, but I think I've done it.
Yeah.
And
the Georgia Theater, you've played here before too, right?
Yeah,
Plenty of times.
A few times, yeah.
This just kind of feels like a homecoming or a return.
For sure.
It's
such a good. I love Athens. It's an amazing place. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, but
Okay,
I come up here for AthFest every year, the Drive-By Truckers homecoming shows every year.
Oh, cool.
Wild Rumpus is when I can. They just have so many things where the whole city works together.
Yeah.
And some people are inconvenienced by some of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, it's fine. It's for the better of what we're doing. I mean, I know traffic sucks for the locals this weekend, for instance, right? And they still got to go grocery shopping at some point, probably.
Because of AthFest, you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you know what? If it's for a fun event, that's part of living in a fun. I mean, that happens in Nashville all the time.
Right, but I think Athens embraces it. Like they're just like, that's just what it is. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
It is. I love this city. I love this city. So, you put out your first record in 2012, right?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
And I feel like a lot has changed in the industry since you've. What are some of the biggest changes that have impacted you directly, do you think?
It's weird because a lot has changed, but as it's changed, my opportunities have grown. So I haven't felt like really, I don't have like things have only gotten better for me. So that gives me happiness.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of hard times and there's been a ton of work put into everything. But yeah, I mean, like little things have changed in regards to the fact that like I used to send in sound scans on paper, tracking what I made to my record label, hand send them in. And now I don't do that because I don't even know who.
I don't even know if SoundScan is a thing
does that
anymore.
Even happen anymore? It was so.
I don't think SoundScan exists.
But I did it, and like it was a pain though. But I did it. I had like a little notebook of stuff like that I most. But the venues, I think post-COVID, that shook up the live entertainment industry. And I have seen clubs suffer from that because it's like it's felt like that's primarily what I play. It's like rock clubs and, well, I mean, I've played different stuff, but theaters and stuff too. But yeah, I feel like it's just the economy's changed, a lot has changed. So it's like people are, maybe it's partially just getting older too. It's like less people are going out to kind of like more low key events, but I see it coming back around. So
yeah, I think the thing I noticed that is very much in line with what you just said is like simultaneously while we had all these live venues like struggling after COVID, you had the music industry as a whole shifting more and more towards the money making for artists being live performances.
Yeah.
And so you had in the 90s, bands could make money selling records.
Yeah.
Right. And then that all changes in the 2000s. And then by 2020, they're almost entirely relying on live performances.
Yeah.
And I say they, are entirely, I mean, record sales are, I talked to Franz Nicolai a couple of weeks ago, and he's like 90% of my income from music is from live performances and merch at those performances. And then 10% of it's from my recordings.
Yeah.
And I think that being the case in 2020, when all the venues had to close and everything, that convergence is what really drove a lot of problems in this. Because it's just one is like you can manage it and work with it. And I think artists they had started becoming more innovative with their merchandise and live shows. And this unexpected thing comes along and it kind of quashes all the ways that artists had coped with the changes in the industry.
Yeah. I think that touring has been necessary for most independent artists for a long time. So of course it affected us in 2020. We couldn't do that. But I mean, luckily for me, like some beneficial things happened to me that year and I ended up being better off than I'd been when I was on the road. But that was through publishing deals and government money and stuff. Like just fortunate things. But
when you've had your music used in like some movies and TV shows and things like that.
I mean, of course, I'd love to make more from that, though. It's I mean, everybody would like to see more publishing royalties come through. Because songs are really valuable. And there have been a few months of my life where you'll get a thing from SoundScan and be like, oh my God, wow, that was like a lot of money. It doesn't happen much, but every so often I'll be like, holy shit, that's like my rent plus a lot more. So, and I'm not like a hit songwriter. I want to be, but so if I'm getting that, I think there is money if you write your own song.
So, I mean, I think that's good. That's good to know.
This XM pays really well for playing your stuff, so that's cool.
And I think like you're absolutely right. Live performance has always been an essential part. It just became a bigger and bigger piece of the pie as like, the 2000s went on.
For sure.
So I guess like kind of in the same line, like you talked about your dad always being kind of a guiding light for you. And I would imagine in your music career as well, what do you think some of the advice he gave you that doesn't really apply anymore? Do you think there's anything like that like is just like it wouldn't really apply to today's industry?
I wish I could think of something just to expand on this, but honestly, most of his advice has been fairly timeless in its own way because it's just straightforward, simple stuff. It's keep working. I mean, of course, there are differences that there's things I have to deal with that he never has, and vice versa, due to the era, time, and
I mean, you don't have to have a map with you everywhere you go.
No, I don't. But I also drive myself. I sell my own stuff. I do everything myself. I do my own books. And he doesn't do that. So I'm sure he did at some point. You know what I mean? And I don't resent that. That's just a truth. Those are things that I handle in my own business. So, and he has stuff he handles in his. So, and I think it's really cool. He's a smart guy and a good guy. And
what parts of like doing it all do you actually enjoy?
I mean, the playing, like every musician.
Well, yeah.
I'm here to
but,
play music. I don't want to do all that other shit, really.
But none of it is enjoyable.
I like having a grip on what I'm doing. I do. I like understanding what's going on. And it's helped me kind of know my own business. So.
Yeah. And I think there's been a lot more of a desire for people want to go out to shows now.
Yeah.
I think, in a really, and it's been pretty sustained since everything came back, right? What was like, what is some of the most exciting moments about going back on the road after being gone for 2 years or whatever?
I think that's yours, yeah. I mean, I was really happy to get back to it. It was hard at first, and it was lonely and weird traveling the U.S. again in 2021. It was the first time I did a full-on tour. Yeah. And it was hard. It's kind of was weird time, but they were really cool shows, and if it's what you do, it's what you do, and you can't not do it. That's the way I feel about it. I just don't have it in me to just be like, quit this life. I love this life. It's awesome.
Everybody I've talked to, and myself included, I feel the same way. Like that's what it takes.
Yeah, it is what it takes. You're built for. That's something my dad said to me when I was getting all stressed about that one tour, and he was just like, "Man, you're built for this." And I'm like, "I am," and so are you, and that's why we do it. For as hard as it can be. So. The good outweighs the bad to me at this point in my life.
Yeah, I certainly am not trying to get you to be like, woe is me, it's so hard. But
that's a lot of people's attitude though, and I get it, it is hard.
But I think the other side of that is like a lot of people that aren't musicians, like, they think it's like this glamorous lifestyle, right? Where everything is, sure.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of waiting around, it's a lot of driving, it's a lot of these other things.
A lot of it's spent on the road in traffic, and that is hard. So, but then you see beautiful things. So,
what do you do to kind of get away from the monotony of the day-to-day, or what do you do to keep your sanity on the road?
I think it's easy for me to keep it on the road almost more than it is at home, because I'm so stimulated by the scenery that it's enough to be calmed mentally in a way that I have a hard time finding that stationed. Granted, yes, I love being home. I'm a homebody, and there are times where I've had enough time off and away where I've finally decompressed and kind of eased into that flow. But I don't know. It's just like there's a restlessness that is cool. There's a flow to traveling out here. But yeah, I mean, by the end of a long tour, I'm like so lonely. I'm so burnt out. I'm so sick of talking to people, and I've cried many tears out on the road. But then you call home and you're fine. So you're going to make it back. So.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to in the next year?
Well, I made a new record. Mm-hmm. I'm stoked about it. Try to get our peeps put it out. Who produced it? I did, and my husband, we did it together. So yeah, I mean, I hope that comes out and that there's fun stuff that comes from that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to about this weekend and AthFest and just being back in Athens again?
Well, this is fun to pop up here and play a show. I'm going to go home in a good mood. And this is a special town. And I mean, honestly, there's no place like Athens. And the musical history is really cool. So it's got a little something that nowhere else has. And I like to capture that and try to hold on to it for as long as I can whenever I come here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I've related to so many of the things you said today. So hard. because I feel like I am not myself at home a lot of the time. I feel better when I'm out on the road or when I'm maybe just here. I don't know. Athens is a magic place, but yeah.
It is a magic place.
How do you decide? And I think this is something like comedians, we can kind of, even after we record a special, we can change a joke.
Yeah.
How do you decide a song is done?
I mean,
is it ever?
Once it's recorded, to me, it's like, that's done.
Yeah.
It's on the record, so that's the version. But of course, they evolve live over time. But no, when I write it, I mean, sometimes I've really paid attention and known that I need to shape something up. Sometimes I've let something just kind of be weird and stay in that space. And I don't know. It's hard to. It just feels done. I don't know really how to explain that because sometimes it just happens really fast. You're like, that's it.
The dough no longer sticks to the plastic fork.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're just like, that's it. That's the song. And that really does happen. And it happens to every songwriter I know. It's not like, oh, it's me. Literally, everybody I know says that. They're like, sometimes they just fly out, and they really do.
Yeah, jokes too for me.
Yeah,
they just,
they
kind of just happen. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is trying to build the bottle around it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I'm trying to contain whatever or put it into something that you can give to someone else.
Yeah, for sure. No.
Well, Lily, is there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't got? Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
We've covered great ground. I'm
getting pretty hungry.
I'm gonna check out your stuff. You should get some food. It's a game changer.
And
we just ate some food, and I'm like.
Yeah, I ate a little bit after interviewing Dash Rip Rock, but I just ate some stuff in my room, so I'm gonna go get
legit.
Yeah, get like a sandwich or something, and
I got a banh mi. It was incredible. So
that sounds
I've
incredible.
got half of it waiting that I'm gonna eat after the show.
That's smart.
It's my reward.
There you go.
You have to have rewards. I'm like, I'm trying not to smoke cigs, so it's gonna be the banh mi. That's the reward. So.
Well, I can't wait to watch you play tonight. I'm really, really excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I hope to get you down for a house show sometime in Tallahassee.
I love Florida. I just played a bunch of shows there.
I know. I was trying to get you to, but then I realized you were going to be there until I was leaving here. I was like, I'm not trying to put a house show together right before I go to AthFest.
I want to hang in Tallahassee. Yeah, that would be way too.
It would have been too much. Yeah.
Really
when I realized the tour that you were doing and because I'm like 2 hours from St. Augustine, 3 hours from St. Augustine.
Are you on the Tallahassee's inland? Right?
It's on the Panhandle, so it's.
Is it on the coast?
30 miles from the coast and 30 miles from the Georgia border.
That's so cool. That sounds like perfect place to be.
But I have a PA. I'm ready for you. Whenever you. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well,
thank you so much for coming on, Lily.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
That was my interview with Lilly Hiatt. I hope you dug it. Go see her on tour. She's amazing with a full band. She's great on her own, but with a full band, she really shines, I think. Because her songs are rock songs. And Lilly Hiatt fucking rocks. Get us out of here, Sloan. I got nothing else to say about that.